having my near-death experience, I can confidently say that our understanding of death is completely wrong. And this false understanding creates fear that will follow a person around like a shadow. Today, you're gonna learn the main reason why humans are the only species that fears dying, what my NDE taught me about death that few people understand, and lastly, I'll provide proof that you never die, that you can't deny. My name is Nathan Cook, and I'm here to help you live a conscious life. Now, before we get deep into this lesson, I'm going to have to tickle your curiosity with something, mostly because it's going to require you to break away from your regular pattern of thinking to be able to be open-minded to a different perspective. Here we go. So you have no memory ever emerging from your mother's womb. Does this absence of memory imply you were never born? Just like you have no recollection that you existed before this life. Does that mean you never existed before? Now here's the thing. Because we don't have certainty of our existence before birth, it creates uncertainty of our existence after death, which leaves people not fearing death, but the unknown. Surprisingly though, this is not the primary reason why people are afraid of dying. While we all construct and create our own unique reason why we fear the loss of life, there's one predominant factor that lurks within all of us, unlike any other species, driving our fear of death, and that is our ego, because it fears its demise. Think about it. The identity it's built up, crafted, nurtured over X amount of years will one day be reduced to a mere memory, a once upon a time. And this realization of loss of self amplifies our fear of death. Are you following me here? If not, subscribe to the channel. Now I'm going to go over what my near-death experience taught me about death and then provide proof that we never die. So after my NDE, the most reassuring lesson that I learned was that there is no ending of life. I experienced existence in another realm beyond the physical body. And what was so crazy about this is that this place, this space felt familiar, like deja vu. And I instinctively knew that I've been here before. After my accident, my mom picks me up to take me to the ER. And once I get in her car, I'm like boohoo crying like crazy, right? And my mom says to me,
"Are you crying because you're happy to be alive?"
And I said, "No, I'm crying because if I did die, I was still going to be here." Okay, that's like really how it was. And this brought me so much peace because the unknown became known. There will never be a time where you will not cease to exist. What we call death is birth into our spiritual being. Just as seasons change, flowers blossom and wither, tides rise and fall. Birth and death is just another cycle. Humans just happen to be the only species that fears the final act, not knowing they about to go back home. Not being okay with death is like E.T., not wanting to go back home. Now could you imagine that?
E.T. home phone.
E.T. phone home.
Now I'm going to provide proof that you never die, that you can't deny. So I have a question for you. Based on your memory, when has there ever been a time you have never existed? You can't answer this. You know why? Because your consciousness cannot recall a state it's never experienced. There's no ending to you or anyone else. Buzz Lightyear said it best.
To infinity and beyond.
That's us. You can't deny the fact that you have never experienced non-existence. You are having the same experience as God, everlasting. Another thing to consider, there are over 1 million near-death experience videos on YouTube, and while they all differ, one thing is consistent. Whether someone's dead for a minute or 10, they all have a story to tell, which proves there is not a break or stoppage in conscious awareness. It's always in a constant continuous state of being, whether it's physical or non-physical. So if you're worried about a loved one who's passed away, know this: they are as alive as you. Just because you're in that meat suit doesn't make you more alive than them. We tend to forget that consciousness turned itself into flesh. What created us is more intelligent than us. This is why we will never understand life nor death, because it's not something to be understood. It's a mystery to be experienced. Let's just not get old together. Let's grow together. Bye for now.